Shalom. At foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahshua, Ba'ashem, Rakadish. Salutation to the elders and apostles of GMS groups and ones that like teach 100% truth. Shalom, Barakatham to them. I give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahshua, Ba'ashem, Rakadish. And double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS groups and ones that like teach 100% truth. Shalom, Barakatham to them for their edification and knowledge and learning. Give all praise again to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahshua, Ba'ashem, Rakadish. Tonight's lesson, we'll do some verses relating to Israel's inheritance as part of the reward. This is Jeremiah 30, 16 and 18. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be spoiled. So recompense, man. So what was done today is going to be done to them. We put that with Revelations 13 and 10, which I'm going to read in a little bit. Number 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they call thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Because right now, the nation of Israel, they had a very low estate at the bottom, pretty much. So, in the eyes of the world, they are outcasts, man. They mocked and laughed at in like Deuteronomy 37. Thou become a byword proverb among all other nations, whether I lead thee. So right now they have a very low estate, and that relates to ultimately because of their disobedience relating to not following Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua ultimately. So he had to pretty much spiritually punish the nation of Israel. Number 18. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tent, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be built upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. This relates to the restoration of Israel and Judah, which is the northern and southern tribe. The restoration relating to being spiritually restored back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua. I'm going to continue on. Now precept that what I was going to read, what I'm going to read right now, Revelations 3, 9, 10. I would precept that with Jeremiah 30 and 16. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience of the faith of the saints, which are the hopeful elect of prophets. And this relates to that recompense, man. So what was done to the nation of Israel is going to be done to these other heathen nations, man. It's that simple. Psalms 2, 8 and 9. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen, which is the other nations, for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth, thy possession. That relates to the other nations as pretty much a reward relating to inheritance, you know what I mean? So the reward of the spoils of the other nations as an inheritance. Number 9. Thou shalt break them as a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. It relates to pretty much what's going to happen to the other nations, man. And that relates to their spiritual captivity. Put that all, it relates to the Messiah's triumph in the kingdom. The Messiah's triumph, Hamashiach's triumph in kingdom. I'm going to read Isaiah 60, 11 and 12. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day or night, that men may bring into thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. It relates to the other nations. And thy gates represents the place, you know what I mean? For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. ye those nations shall be utterly wasted. So basically, the nations that refuse to comply relating to obeying the nation of Israel in the next kingdom, their ultimate punishment is going to be they're going to perish. They're going to be destroyed. Either they comply or pretty much they die. And this relates to these verses relate to captivity, relating to the other heathen nations, man. You know, for what they have done is going to be done unto them. This is the bitter part of that Bible. This the things they don't. This the bitter part of these verses that most people don't like, especially 13 and 10, Revelations. Let me read 149 to 8 and 9. Bind thy kings with chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron. That means that's captivity. To execute upon them judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. That the nobles represents the ones who are in power, man. They're going to get their turn relating to what they have done among certain groups of people. It's going to be flipped around to them, pretty much. That relates to praise God for his salvation and judgment. The whole chapter 1 through 9. 149 of Psalms. Now let's switch it to different thing. I'm going to read some other verses. This is Numbers 35, 33, and 34. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for the blood it defiled the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Number 34, defile not therefore the land which ye shall inhabit, wherein I dwell, for I, the Lord, dwell among the children of Israel. And that relates to the cities of refuge, man. Alright, I'm going to read Isaiah 24, 10 and 12. Number 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. This relates to pretty much these verses I want to read relating to the precursively what's happening, beginning to happen, especially here. We'll read that again. The cities of confusion is broken down. That relates to Babylon. That's here. That's America. And every house is shut up, and no man may come in. So things are beginning to shut up, shut down, and close. Businesses and different things. There is a crying for the wine in the streets. All joy is dark, and the mirth of the land is gone. That's what's happened. That mirth in the land, that things that were once of previous, that joy is beginning to cease, man, and it is. Look at the state of society. It is the state of the mind state of the society, man. It's breaking down, slowly breaking down within, outside within, inside without. So that joy and that mirth is beginning of the land is beginning to pretty much cease, and it is. Curfews, less time to do certain things. Businesses are not opening at full capacity, full hours relating to their hours. So that affects their money, you know what I mean? So it's pretty much the system is beginning to slowly deteriorate to slowly recede, recede back. I'm going to read number 11. There is a crying for the wine in the streets. All joy is darkened with the mirth of the land. In the city is left desolation. The gate is smitten with destruction. This relates to the impending judgment related on the earth, on the nations of the earth, man. And that's what's happening now. It's getting judged, man. The desolation, this looting and riot, these are all precursors to what's to come ultimately. We're in a state of pre-confusion, man. The society is. I'm going to precept that with 12 and 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders shall cease, because they are few. That relates to the workers. Like I said, the hours cut back, fewer workers. They're not working and running at full capacity. You know what I mean? Less hours, less money. It's a trickle-down effect. And those that look outside the windows are darkened. It relates to it's beginning to be nothing out there. No hope, no future. Potentially, no future. You know what I mean? So all the things, and that relates to also the joy of mirth. These things are ceasing, man. The things that we once knew as a normal previously, that's beginning to, that's gone pretty much. We in a new abnormal, like I said in the video last night. The new abnormal is the normal. You know what I mean? You're looking at it. I'm going to read 1 and 2. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. That relates to seeking Yahweh B'Shem Yoshua in thy youth, pretty much in the early times while there's no evil development. Number 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after rain. So these pretty much seeking while opportunity is to seek them, while the Lord's hand is out, while there's a grace period, liberty to do it, because these things are beginning to close up. These things are beginning to close up. Now I'm going to read this verse here. This is Sirach 11. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain neither. I'll read that again. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. That relates to seeking or going after matters that you pretty much had no business of going after. You know what I mean? Meddling things that pretty much is really none of your affairs to meddle with in the first place. And ultimately could be a snare or a trap. You know what I mean? And you might get in a situation where you might not be able to get out of it. You know what I mean? So ultimately it could be a snare or a trap to you. You know what I mean? This relates to deliberation and caution. Deliberation means pretty much careful consideration or discussion. Basically thought, thinking, and reflection, and caution relating to being careful. And that relates to discretion. Discernment is discernment too. Pretty much having discernment whether I should partake that or not. You know what I mean? And relating to that from a spiritual aspect, because we in the days of evil, man. Be circumspect, not as fools, but as wise. Redeeming the times because they're evil. Ephesians 5:15 and 16, because that's the times we're in. So we have to be as Matthew 10 and 16. As I send you midst of the sheep, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. So it's about being smart, being wise, having discernment. Also, conducting yourself in a certain manner as possible, because we in a pretty much a circle of various types of evil around us, from person, place to thing. So we have to be wise. We have to be even methodical and calculating, relating to how we approach, and most of all how we do certain things, and how we get involved with certain things, whether it's for our interest or not, because ultimately it may not be. Now, this was just a few verses relating to those verses I was reading. That chapter 1 through 6 talks about deceptiveness of appearance. Basically, not everything is what it seems. 7 and 28, deliberation and caution, relating to basically being careful and thinking and before pretty much engaging or reacting or getting involved with. In 29:34, care in choosing friends. That means who you associate yourself with. So that's a good chapter. Sirach 11. So deliberation, caution, because we very pretty much you have to be watchful, because we in those times. And this was something short, and I hope it edified. I hope it helped someone. The water for listening. I want to start out by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakadish. Salutation to the elders and apostles of GMS groups, the ones that like teach 100% truth. Shalom, barakathon to them. I'll give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakadish. The water, shalom, thank you.